Hello, everybody. So I wanted to talk about, how we are learning and we're all growing. And as we learn more about ourselves, we gain more pieces of our own puzzles. We came into this world to learn and to grow. And it hasn't been easy for a lot of us. Some of us have had a beautiful ride. And maybe that's the life they came into this world for, to enjoy it and to be here just to be and be blessed the entire journey. But many of us haven't. Many of us have come here to fight the fight, and not to fight each other's fight, as in boxing and kicking and doing kung fu and all the other fighting things, and to argue and fight all the time. Although a lot of our world has become that, hasn't it? With all the wars going on and, whether it's all true or not, the stories that are being told, at the end of the day, it all comes down to us, what we are doing with our individual lives, what we are doing for ourselves. And, I speak for myself when I say, I've traveled a rough journey. I had a beautiful childhood. I thought it was great. Obviously completely oblivious to all the stresses around. I just lived life and carried on. Then I entered the world of adulthood, and I've been shaken in the snow globe several times. But I've learned recently that my life has taken the path it has taken for very valid reasons, many reasons. But I can say that I have been broken, I have mended, I have healed, I've been broken again. But every time you break, you crack open. And my most recent one, my daughter's moved out to go live with her dad again, because being 19 and having an unroutine lifestyle, it was becoming quite disruptive, and she chose to actually go live with dad, because that's just adult to adult. She can come and go as she pleases, and daddy gets on with his life and she can get on with hers. Where myself, my husband, and our 6-year-old need a bit more of a structured routine life. But in her grown-up, matured way of deciding how she's going to do it, and she doesn't want to fight, and she needs to take the tension away from us, my heart broke. But it broke, funny enough, I thought at first that she was the one that has hurt me the most out of my other daughter. Also left and moved on. They both wanted to be independent, right? And independence is an important thing, especially at a young age. Face the world and dive right in and see where you can go. But I mean, she left me. She was my baby girl, And I actually sat outside under the stars, early hours of the morning, and I cried, and I cried, and I cried, and I coughed because I cried, because my throat was constricted, and my poor neighbors, don't know what they thought was going on, but I suppose they just got on with it. Why I'm worried about them? Yeah, I do consider other people around me. But as I was crying, my heart was hurting. My chest actually really felt sore. It's the first time, I have felt it before, but it was the first time in a more conscious way or version of myself that I actually really felt my heart breaking. Like I cried and I felt my heart like crack open. And when I closed my eyes, did I imagine it? Did I see it? Was it a picture shown to me? I can't exactly tell you, but it was like the sun shining out of that crack. And when I looked up, it was like 4 a.m. in the morning, and the sun was starting to rise. So the sky was starting to lighten over there, and I was watching. It was actually quite incredible how the sunbow took place. I call it a sunbow. Like the rainbow's arc, right? As the sun was rising, I saw the darkness of the night or early hours of the morning also rising in an arc. It was a weird experience, and my heart, my mind's eye, was shining out bright, and it was opening wider and wider. And after I finished crying and the sun was rising, I felt so much better. And I realized what I'd done is I had a whole lot of heartbreak. She's the last of my first marriage to almost leave my world, if I have to say that. She's opened a space for my new husband and son to carry on with life while she gets on with her new life and moves forward. So it was kind of like a whole movement in space, and I watched the sun rising the sunbow happening, and it's almost like I did gain a piece of myself back, actually, in the heartbreak and the release of the pain that has been happening in this last part of my life. I really feel like I've lived several lifetimes in this lifetime, because I've had every cycle of my life has just taken on its own personality, and there have been gains and losses the whole way. And as I think I'm, taking on and finding my way, life would crash down again. And yeah, there were other people involved. There's been family involved. It's either been family, or it's been life, or it's been the people I've been working with. And I've just traveled this crazy journey. But there's a valid reason in it, and it's all about what I've learned, who I've gained, parts of myself that I've had to retrieve, parts of my soul. I don't know if you've heard of the fractalization of our souls on earth as we live. Our souls have been kind of broken. We were brought up a certain way. We had a conditioning of how we were brought up, what we learned, how life to be, from mom and dad teaching you, them having learned from their ancestors. I've mentioned this in a few of my videos. And then you take on the adult world and you try and do it yourself. And the adult world brings you curveball after curveball, what did for me. And it really has been an interesting journey, but I do believe that it's taking me somewhere. At one point I did actually have a comment to myself in that there's got to be a reason why this is all happening. Why it is all happening, I can't yet tell you, but I do believe that there are doors opening for me. And it's been a very interesting journey. So in this video that I am sharing, partly my story. I'm sure many of you out there have your stories to share as well, with similar versions or very different stories, but with the same reason of retrieving a part of yourself. As you release the old, as you release the hurt, the pain, let go and move on, because life goes on. Whatever you do, you wake up the next morning, the sun comes up, and you keep going. The children move on, life moves on. You've got to go buy your groceries, you have to do your washing, you have to clean the house, you have to do the work that you need to do, and you've got to serve your purpose and fulfill your own heart and your own life, and we do that. A lot of us do it naturally. We don't even realize we're doing it naturally. Some are becoming more and more conscious of the natural abilities that we are actually out there to achieve. So yes, I'm sharing this in this way to say that yes, there are things we've done, there's things that we are doing, there are circumstances happening in our lives, and it's all about retrieving the puzzles and the pieces of the puzzles out there to create the whole you. And as you create the whole you are the piece of the puzzle to the greater picture out there. We know we're a piece of the puzzle, but we ourselves have our own pieces of puzzles to retrieve, to become whole again, to then join the unity of the greater picture. Where I want to say at the end of the day, but is there ever an end of a day? So, there is an ending of a day and the start of a new one, and it just goes round and round, and cycles of life are happening like this. So I hope what I'm saying is making sense. If you want to share your stories, if you want to reach out to walk the forward movement journey, and eventually walk the talk of the forward movement and journey, share your stories, and let's see if we can make sense of it, help you retrieve your puzzles and pieces of puzzles and parts of yourselves out there that are wanting to be found. They must be calling. I'm sure you felt the pieces of yourself calling. Something is saying, hello, please come find me. You want to go somewhere. Where do you want to go? How do you find out how you do it? I won't have all the answers, because everybody has their own journey, but I can help you you got to help me help you find your way, and we can do it together, holding hands on this path forward. So reach out to Live Smart Foundational Development for Self at livesmartFD@gmail.com, and let's create our groups, our person to persons, group to groups, community to community, eventually community in unity, groups in unity, people in unity. It's all going from ourselves within, working within to without. I'll share the details of how we're going to work it all as we all start getting together, and I look forward to working with you.